people have joined us. Our strategic partners have joined us, so I think we'll get started. Good morning or afternoon to all those who have joined us, and a warm welcome to our strategic partners. My name is Anna, and I've been working to put this program to our membership, and it's wonderful to have so many of you with us today. So I will just briefly run through the proceedings for this webinar, and then we will get started. So we'll start with an opening speech by Rosie Glazebrook, our CEO, followed by Kai Peters, Professor Peters, who will represent Coventry University today as well. And then we will hear a presentation from the leadership team at Coventry. And then there will be an opportunity for our members to ask any questions through the Q&A function. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, do send them across, and we'll make sure that we make the Coventry University team aware of those questions. It's also important to mention today that this webinar is being recorded and will be distributed among our membership. So just to make everyone aware of that. Right, without further ado, I will introduce Rosie Glazebrook and get the webinar started.
Thanks very much, Anna, and delighted to have so many of you with us today, and welcome to our strategic partners, and morning and good afternoon. And as Anna said, the Coventry team will shortly outline all the details of the programme. But before we get into the details of this brief webinar, I just wanted to say a few words. And firstly, our huge thanks to Coventry for putting together such a great MBA programme for our strategic partners. And we're particularly grateful for the substantial discount that all our strategic partners receive if they choose to take part in the programme. And the launch of the programme takes place against the background of many ongoing global challenges you'll all be aware of. And as you know, the Commonwealth has a huge combined population of 2.5 billion, and it recognises the challenges across all the 56 countries, and whether they are covering economic development, threat of climate change, etc. And so to address these challenges, education plays a huge part, and it can't be underestimated. And the professional and education qualifications play a vital role in supporting workers to reach their potential and provide employers with really a highly skilled workforce. CWEIC believes that the ability of free enterprise and trade offers these unparalleled opportunities to bolster the economic advancement. And the key to unlocking these solutions rests on the capacity to educate and foster ambitious leaders. And this is a leadership program, and trailblazers and will hopefully come out of this who will be able to think critically and strategically, solve complex business problems. We can't wait to see this program get started, and also how the alumni will achieve in years to come. So we're very excited about the prospect. This is a bespoke online course, which is a unique opportunity to engage in learning across all our strategic partners, and as well as receive a comprehensive education from the top academic and distinguished business leaders throughout our network and with Coventry University. So we really hope that you'll consider the immense opportunity that this programme brings to yourself and to your business, and also the opportunities to interact with other strategic partners across our network in the 56 countries. So thank you so much. And I won't, with no further delay, I'm going to hand over to Professor Kai Peters, and delighted to have you all with us today. So thank you very much, and over to Kai. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rosie, and thank you for all of you participating on this call. I thought I'd give you, with my face before I use the PowerPoint, a bit of background about Coventry University and the Coventry University Group, so you have some sort of an idea of what we're about. And then I'll focus specifically on some aspects of the program with a short slide deck. There will be some time for questions, as Anna said, at the end. And I would encourage everyone just to keep in mind, if you want more information, if you just Google CWEIC, Coventry University MBA, it will pop up at you. as a reminder, or if you want to show something to someone else in your organization. So Coventry University is about 185 years old and started as a university for design, for vehicles and clothing and all kinds of things in the 1840s. So I guess we were designing carts and funny hats for the 1840s. But since then, of course, we've moved ahead very strongly. We've been a university for about 50 years in our present guise, and we're probably one of the most dynamic of the universities in the United Kingdom. We're certainly very entrepreneurial. Our motto is to create better futures for our students, and we have lots of students from all around the world, lots of students who are the first generation in their families to attend university, and we really believe that education is the way to move forward. Right now, we have locations across the United Kingdom, obviously in Coventry, also in London, also in some smaller parts of the country. We have a campus in Wrocław in Poland. We have campuses in Cairo in Egypt, as well as in Morocco. And I think we're going to open another campus in Uzbekistan, which will be kind of a fun road trip to go see what they do in Uzbekistan. We've also been developing our online capacity. So for those of you, all of us who lived through COVID, a lot of universities said they went online, which basically meant they got a face on a Zoom or on a Teams call talking at them the whole time. But we didn't really use that approach. We had been investing in our online capacity for years beforehand. We hired a team from the BBC and from the Open University to build really high quality learning content. It looks like it's proper television. It doesn't look like it's a talking head talking at you the whole time. We use a couple of platforms for delivery. One is called Aula, which is a personalized kind of social learning platform, where we'll in all likelihood be using Engagely quite a lot with you, which is kind of fun. You sit at tables in groups, you go to breakout groups, so it's never flat. It's always really very innovative kind of learning. And so you will, I think, really enjoy the experience. If you would like to have a taster, there are also tasters online, so you can have a look at what we're delivering and what it looks like. The background to the cooperation with CWEIC and Coventry is a discussion between the Vice Chancellor and senior management at CWEIC a few years ago at a Commonwealth event. And the question that arose is it possible to offer something interesting and innovative for the membership of CWEIC? And we thought, well, yes, we can use our platform, we can use some building blocks from the online that we have, and we can customize a few more to make it really relevant for people looking at international business, global trade, and all of the issues that arise from that perspective. So I'm going to see if I can get my screen to share here. Where did it go? There it is. I think that's it. Oop. I have to allow Zoom to share my screen. Apologies. Okay, so, sincere apologies here. I'm being blocked. Let's see if this does a better job. Okay, that looks better. There. Hopefully everyone can now see my screen. Good.
Yes, Guy. Go ahead.
Let's
continue.
Very good. It's always stressy when I'm asked to share one screen and it isn't working right away. Anyhow, here we are, back on track. So the Coventry University MBA, the MBA at the university is our flagship program that we use both in a full-time face-to-face, part-time face-to-face, part-time online model, and that's what we've been built on. The goal of an MBA is obviously to give people an all-around feel for all of the different aspects of the business environment. It does a kind of a helicopter overview. In my own MBA years ago, when I was young and carefree, you know, we did macroeconomics, microeconomics, accounting, finance, etc., really to give you an overview over all of the aspects of business. What it does is it gives you a feeling for what goes on in the different areas of your business, which I think is critical. It's really easy if you're not experienced with finance to find it confusing. It's really easy to find IT and technological developments confusing. But if you spend some time not only learning from the faculty members, but just as importantly, learning from your classmates, you really get a better perspective. The classmates, as well as the faculty members, can also bring examples from adjacent industries and different types of organization, because one just doesn't always have the chance to really poke around someone else's organization to see how they do marketing, to see how their supply chain works. And I find it one of the best programs in the world to give people an all-around understanding of what business does. Within the business schools, we always talk about two kinds of things. One are the hard skills, the finance, the supply chain, something that is kind of calculatable, as well as the soft skills. And we try and emphasize soft skills because if you think about what many of you probably do much of the day, certainly what I do much of the day, is speak to people, be in meetings, do performance reviews, encourage people. It's somewhere between being a nice person and herding cats. And so it's the balance between the hard skills and the soft skills that really make a program valuable. As I mentioned, we had been working together with CWEIC since 2021 to try and really find the ideal type of program which we believe that we've designed. We launched a few months ago, and we've had an information session also face-to-face in London, and generally the reception has been very positive. You'll all know about the Commonwealth, at CWEIC, as well as the Commonwealth countries. And in addition to the campuses I mentioned, we also have offices around the world in Dubai, Brussels, Rwanda, Singapore, India, and China. So as much as possible, we can also offer you support from the various locations that we have. So you don't have to run on the hours that the United Kingdom works on. It's possible to work and be supported all over the world. So I'll show you an overall view in a moment, but these are the two modules that we designed specifically to support the needs of CWEIC, one on global trade and investments, looking at the political and legal context, and the second is financial instruments used in global trade. We also firmly believe we need to think about the future of the planet, not just the future of business. So you'll find a strong focus on risk management, sustainability, ESG, cross-cultural practices, a host of things that we think are important for business and for the world. At the bottom of this particular slide, I put up the link that you'll get when you look at CWEIC Coventry University MBA, and you can find it yourselves. Otherwise, I'll make sure that Rosie and Anna also have a copy of this PowerPoint deck, should anyone be asking for it. So the structure is based so that it's possible for you to keep working. We've stretched it so that it fits nicely in a 24-month period. You run a number of modules per semester using our Future Learn Aula content, and we will offer, if there's enough demand, some residentials each year for people to get together. That so far is not priced within, because we know people live in different parts of the world. Some of them can probably get on the bus to get to the Singapore campus. Others will have to fly from far away. So that will then be priced in a way that is fair. You'll be doing 3 semesters per year and 1 module per semester. What happened there? Oh, this is a build. There you go. I didn't realize it was a build. So the other thing that we've done, which we believe is innovative, is we're looking for people with significant business experience amongst the CWEIC members. And we recognize that they will have done a lot of work and will have gathered a lot of experience. So the green modules across the top will be exempt. So basically, you will be given advanced standing of 1/3 of the MBA program due to your experience and due to your membership in CWEIC. So you will thereafter be looking at doing the orange modules, and the blue modules. As I said earlier, 3 a year, 1 per semester, and you'll top it off with the MBA consultancy project. Now, the idea when you design a program for working professionals is as much as possible to make sure the assignments are relevant to their working context and also ask questions about that working context. So there's no point in teaching about innovation and entrepreneurship and only talking about Elon Musk. It's much more important to think about how you can innovate, how you can improve things within your own organization. The second benefit from the focus on the actual workplace is it gives one a chance to talk to senior management around one's organization, to talk to people in different departments that you won't necessarily have worked with, to come to a better understanding of, for example, how global marketing works in your organization, what the opportunities are. So we really try and anchor the MBA program in the day-to-day working lives of the participants on it, and we try our best to ensure that you and your organization get value for it. If we've done that, then we've done the right thing. We've really tried to create something and have delivered something that you can say, even during my MBA, while I was still learning, I was able to apply the different modules. I don't know how that happened. I think I just shook my little table here and it moved. You will be able to say to your organization that you've already added value. The third thing to remember is no one really does an MBA so that they can do the same thing after the MBA as what they were doing before the MBA. There's obviously a desire to get ahead, to gather more responsibility, to gain a promotion. And by showing the organization how one's making a difference, it really raises your own visibility as a participant. I've been working with MBA programs this year for 32 years now in the Netherlands and in the UK, and I can really see the progress and the change amongst the students. You know, you talk to them beforehand and they're kind of uncertain. They're not really sure how to approach things. And during and after the MBA, they just get better and better at expressing themselves, at coming up with good ideas, at finding the tools and approaches that they learned within their MBA to apply them to real life situations. And that is really very rewarding. And it's also really rewarding when you see them many years later and they say to you, look, the MBA made all the difference in my career. It allowed me to change industries. It allowed me to get promotions. It allowed me to change countries. I met my partner on my MBA program. All kinds of things happen through an MBA program. And we hope that you will think about us in that context as well. So what do we offer? I won't read all of this because we've spoken about quite a lot of this already, but we really try and have a judicious mix of workshops, seminars, breakout rooms, discussion groups, simulations. We try and invite guest lecturers. You may well have someone that you'd like to invite as a guest lecturer, as a participant, and we'll do our best to accommodate that. We also believe that exams don't really add much value for people who are working already. It's not a test about memory. It's about applying what you've learned in the classroom to real situations. So you'll get assignments that have to do with reality rather than exams that have to do with theory. You will also be supported by people from Coventry University thinking about just your student journey, ensuring that you're supported if you have any issues that come up. We will do our best to accommodate you if you have to have a small break and postpone. All kinds of things happen with working professionals. And we're also realistic. Sometimes one's just on a business trip. The advantage of doing the online is there is an opportunity to do so at your pace. It's not that you must be in class Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 every Tuesday for the whole year. It's much more flexible than that. And what we're looking for, we expect you to have an undergraduate degree or equivalent. And equivalent is sometimes something like an accounting qualification or sometimes military background. You'll just have to get in touch with us should you have something that you feel is equivalent but isn't quite the same. We need you to have had significant experience within your organization or running your business, simply because then you can hang the theory and the practice of the MBA on a hat. It makes such a difference if you've had some experience and you realize how hard it is to do change management in an organization, rather to think of it as a theoretical challenge. Therefore, we're looking at 7 years experience. I mentioned that learners will receive credit if they have the 7 years experience and only have to do 2/3. We will also be looking at a detailed CV and a cover letter and a Coventry University application form from you, for which there are links on the website to remind you, Coventry University plus CWEIC, enter, and you'll get there. Now, the regular fee for the MBA, which would apply also to somebody in your organization who doesn't have the 7 years experience, would be 18,500. They would have to do all of the modules though. But for those of you with the exemption capacity with significant experience, we are pro-rataing the MBA. So it will cost you £12,333, which in euros is about 14,000 euros. I'm not quite sure how to translate it into every other currency. I guess it's about 15,000 US dollars, more or less. And we will also give an £1,000 discount for people who are CWEIC members. So all in all, I think it is a terrific opportunity to take part in a very high quality online learning experience, giving you the chance to learn, giving you the chance to apply your learning in your organization, helping you develop your networks, your own skills, supporting your ambition, and doing all of that at a very reasonable price as far as MBA programs go. We just simply are offering this at the same price that we would be charging for the full-time one. So we're not putting a surcharge on or anything. We're just trying to be fair and to reach out. I know that some people in the live session have asked whether pounds have to be sent to the UK. I can check again whether it's possible to pay at any of our offices. I know that some countries have currency restrictions. It's probably the best that you ask one of us directly, or just email me. I'm kai.peters@coventry.ac.uk. I'm easy to find. I'm easy to find on LinkedIn as well. So we really try and make sure we reach out and do our best for each and every candidate. Some things are possible and sometimes they're not necessarily possible. So thank you very much for paying attention. I hope I went through that in a way that wasn't too fast or too slow. It really is a goal to give you some insight into what the program is all about. As I said, if you go online, you can find out much more. You can also watch some videos about how our online learning works. So I think it's always important. No one does an MBA twice, so it is important to really think about where one's considering studying, what one feels about the organization, who one is dealing with there, whether one feels supported. And I think you'll find that Coventry University is a tremendously supportive organization for our students globally. We're very supportive of the Commonwealth. I grew up in Canada, I'm Commonwealth. Michael's in Singapore, that's Commonwealth. I'm not quite sure whether, Aeneas, you're going to join the Commonwealth at any time soon. Probably not. Probably happy to be in NATO, though. Yeah. So thank you very much from me. And I don't know if Michael, Jovi, or Aeneas want to say anything else, or whether that has given everyone a bit of an insight. And obviously, we're happy to answer any questions should they arise. Thanks for listening to me.
There's just a question, Kai, if you could just remind those who joined just recently of the cost. Perhaps
yes,
you can do that.
The cost for the program is £12,333, which is about 15,000 US, more or less, something along those lines. And you get a £1,000 discount for being a member of CWEIC. And so that comes in at £11,500. You also get waiver of 1/3 of the program, which means that we've prorated it down because you're only doing 2/3 of the amount of study that full-time students would be doing because of your experience within CWEIC and your experience within your own organization. Let's see, another question. What's the payment process like? The payment process is, this is a good question. As far as I know, it is possible to partially pay. Can one pay as one goes, colleagues? Michael, do you know?
I think it's upon registration, they have to pay. We can confirm that again. I think that's my understanding. Is that right, Jovi? Once they apply, they have to pay the fees.
Yes, Michael. And just to add, the offer for the discount is only applicable to the first 100 of the members that want to join the program. So we will make sure that the first members to apply for the program get the discount. And then after the first 100, then we close the offer, but the program still can continue to register, but at normal price.
How long is the program? Can it be done in less time or longer? The idea we had was, because there are 6 modules, that it made the most sense to do 1 module at a time and to do 1 per semester. The idea of a module is to offer you about 150 learning hours. And the learning hours are about thinking, attending, watching, reading, etc. So it shouldn't be underestimated on the workload. It is possible to stretch it longer. I think it probably is possible to do more than 1 module at the same time, but it kind of falls out of the rhythm of your classmates. Yeah, you're going to be in a group with other people, and with those other people, you're going to build relationships. If you're kind of drifting in and out at a speed that's different than the other colleagues, it is difficult. We will, again, of course, try and accommodate. Certainly, we would accommodate if someone simply cannot turn up for a semester because of a work requirement, or God forbid, hospitalization or something that happens to them. We won't kick you out if you're not running with the same speed as everyone else, but we would recommend that it's the best experience if you work together with others. The question is 2 years viable? I think it is. What we see is that the rhythm of doing the modules goes quite well. It is quite structured. People kind of keep up with each other. Where we do see people sometimes being quicker or being slower is with the project. It depends on what their subject is. It depends on how big a chunk they've bitten off and how quickly they read and write and do their actual research. And sometimes also on whether their organization can support them. You know, if you want to write about strategy and you need to talk to your chief of strategy, and the chief of strategy is not available because he or she is doing something else, it can sometimes postpone things a little bit. But generally, our experience is people largely finish on time. As said, this isn't the first MBA program that we've designed. We have a whole bunch of them on the run. Is the MBA restricted to certain disciplines? Yes, it is. There's kind of an accepted body of knowledge that gives you an all-around business experience. And you wouldn't be at business school if you didn't do finance or accounting, for example. To try and make it relevant to your own organization, we will be basing examples and assignments on what goes on in your space. So if you're writing about, I don't know what, human resources in an oil company, it's a completely different kettle of fish than if you're doing it about a restaurant, as an example. And your project is also tailored to your areas of interest. That again gives you the chance to customize the program to your needs, but within the framework of a common body of knowledge or a shared body of knowledge with your classmates.
Hi, there's a question on, are there any plans to look at similar courses at slightly lower level at 4 or 5?
We have some online. We have not really customized them to make sense for CWEIC members, and we'd have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. The problem with the lower level ones is to get a full degree, you have to do levels 4, 5, and 6. So that's years 1, 2, and 3 of an undergraduate degree. If you do just part of that, you're kind of left with something in hand, but it's not as concrete as a complete master's program. But if you are at level 4, 5, 6, we can please just get in touch, and we can also put you in touch with people who are running the undergraduate online progression pathway. It doesn't fall within the remit of what we're talking about this morning or this afternoon for some of you, but it's certainly out there. It exists. Has the program started, or when is it starting? It starts on a rolling basis. What's the next intake? September and then January?
Yes, Kai, the program, the next one is going to be start for September. The registration is going to open next Monday. People who are interested can go to our landing page. The CWEIC landing page is in our website. You can try to search on it, or you can have it on the presentation that is going to be shared after this webinar.
Thanks, Toby. So you can all see how important it is to have knowledgeable colleagues in one's own organization, because if everyone had to ask me things, I'd be going,
I think just
MBA MBA sometimes stands for Master of Bugger All.
So I think just to add on to that, it's like what Kai said, is a rolling intake. The first intake in September. We also have a January intake and a May intake. Again, depending on the cohort. What we are trying to do is to bring a good sized cohort together, because to us, the learning experience is very important. So we're trying to build a cohort size, and we encourage people who are keen to start to register as soon as possible, because I think we are limiting to the number of cohort in the size also. We can't have too big, because you cannot have 30 people in the MBA cohort. You will not have the experience of learning from each other. So those who are interested, please do as soon as possible to register.
Thanks, Michael.
I also just want to highlight Grace's question. As a practicing human resource professional, can she enroll in the MBA?
Yes, of course. We firmly believe that it's important for all kinds of different functions to have an MBA. It really gives you a chance to understand the other areas of business. And the more, this is my personal thing. I ran a business school that did a lot of executive education in a previous life, and I was dealing with human resources a lot. And I always thought it was a bit of a shame that human resource people weren't sometimes more involved in the nitty-gritty of the business to really understand what products were, what the strategy was, and to get involved in that discussion. And those that had that background really benefited themselves and their organizations. So I would strongly encourage people with HR backgrounds to consider MBA programs. We think this is a good one, but in general, MBA programs add real value to HR. And the installment, as we said, we think it has to be paid up front. If there's a concrete issue that it needs to be paid in installments, please get in touch directly with one of us and we can help you out with that and find out. I have to check with my finance department. I'm personally not 100% sure.
Yeah. So just write into us when you have any question like this, because as what Kai said, we can reach out to our admission team to get more clarification on that. But as I mentioned earlier, my understanding is all the fees are all paid at once upon registration. But again, we can clarify again with our admission team.
As representing CWEIC, if there's any questions as well, feel free to email me. I'll pop my email in the chat and I'll happily connect you to the relevant party on the Coventry University side, be that the finance team or the applications team or Kai, Michael, Jovi, and the MBA team generally. I'll just pop it in there now.
Good stuff. Well, thank you everyone for attending and listening to us. Hopefully we'll have given you some information and awoken some interest. And it would be delightful if we were to see you on the programs. It would really be great. So thank you very much for this morning, this afternoon, and have a good rest of the day.
Yes, thank you to our Coventry University team for giving such a great presentation. I see there's been many questions, which is great. We'll round off the webinar now. What will happen after this is we will send you a follow-up email with the presentation attached and links and information that we discussed in the webinar today. If you have any questions before that, please do get in touch via the email that I've put into the chat. And yeah, we look forward to seeing everyone apply, and do be in touch. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Anna.
much. Thank you.
Thanks, Enias.
Thank you.